This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, please let me know actually if someone is haven't gone through the demo actually. Okay. Please speak actually. See, if you're people just keeping calm actually, I can't proceed further also. See, I'm asking you a question, simple question. It's not related to technical also. And if it is a general question, and you people wanted to be an employee of a company and an MNC basically, and if you are keeping quiet like this, obviously, how can you succeed in your services basically? I asked you a simple question, whether you people have attended a demo or not. For that, if you're not replying, how can you answer your technical lead questions, your peer questions, or how can you proceed further in your job and all basically?
No, sir.
Please tell me whether you people have gone through the demo or not. That's the question.
No, sir, I cannot attend the demo.
Okay, yeah. Sai, I think attended. Naveen, actually, yeah. Please, Naveen. Naveen, it's not audible actually. Or type in the chat box yes or no. Actually, that would be better. If problem with your mic or something. Okay, fine. See, after this session, please go through the demo who haven't gone through that actually. Okay. To start with, what happened in the demo and all, I'll just give you an overview basically, and then we'll proceed with the session today. What things we will discuss today, and I'll give you the complete overview of it, and then we'll proceed with the session. Okay, fine. If there is anything, please stop me in between, and if you have any queries, put it in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and then you can speak as well, which are related to the today's session or the career related questions basically. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. You able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. See, as I have already told you people like what is an mule ESB and how it works and all, basically I have clearly explained in the demo actually. Once you are very clear about what is a Mulesoft tool and why is it used actually, like it's a simple generic example, as well as I have taken one technical example also. If you go through that, you will clearly understand exactly like what is Mulesoft and why is it used, and we have discussed why we have to learn and all those things also basically. That's fine. Now we will go through like what is the course content we are going to discuss further, and what is the version we are going to learn. Okay, and then like what are the software requirements, what are the system requirements, and what is the role of a Mulesoft developer in a company. All these areas will be covered in the today's session basically. Okay, now if you are aware of Mule, you will be knowing like there are two versions, like a Mule 3.x and Mule 4.x, which are actively working on, which most of the Mulesoft companies are working on basically. Okay, but we will be dealing with Mule 4.x version only. What is this Mule 4.x exactly? Like 4.x or 3.x exactly? Like Mulesoft itself is releasing the versions like whenever there is a major update, they will change the version. For example, like it is now 4.x, right? Exactly. It maybe there is any major version change and all, they will go for a 5.x version, and then they'll start 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 like that. Okay. Initially we had a Mule 3.x version. They came from 3.1 to 3.9. After that, there are major changes in the what is the platform. That is the reason they came to 4.0 and then 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. Now currently we are dealing with 4.4 exactly. Okay, fine. Now we will be dealing with this 4.x version only. If there is any minor change, they will go for 4.1 like this. For example, like now 4.4 is going on, right? 4.4. If there is any major change, they will go for 4.1, 4.4.2, 4.4.2 like that. They will be going ahead exactly, and then those are called minor versions. And whenever there is a change, major change in the version, they will go for the 5.x or 6.x further basically. Okay, this is the thing. But why we are going to 4.x exactly? Okay, Mule 3.x, what happened is officially Mulesoft has already stopped the support for this particular Mule 3.4, Mule 3.x software basically. What is the last version? 3.9. Already officially they have supported till 20th March 2021. After that they have stopped. It means that what does it mean basically? It is pushing all the companies to promote from 3.9 to 4.x versions of the software basically. Okay, that's the reason. It's very simple. Now most of the companies are working on 4.x version. Then there is no point in learning the 3.9 or 3.x versions. That is the reason we are solely focusing on 4.x version of Mulesoft exactly. Okay, and sir, whether we get projects on Mule 3.x also, maybe, but still I'll tell you, like 90% of the projects, as per my experience, when I talk to my peer group or my seniors or my juniors, when I spoke with everyone, actually, like what is the version they are using, 90% of the time they are using 4.x exactly. Okay, that is the reason we are using. Maybe it will be 4.1 or 4.2, 4.3 or 4.4, but it will be similar, all the versions. There will be small changes in it, and that differences you will understand, like whenever you start working on that particular version, obviously you will understand. There is no worry about it. Okay, it means that what we are going to learn, we are going to learn 4.6 4.x version of Mule runtime, and we'll be solely focusing on 4.x only, not on 3.x. And if you want to learn, that's your interest basically, but it is not required as per my experience. I suggest 4.x only. Okay, coming to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. Hello, someone please go mute. It is a disturbance for the other people. Actually, I think there is no name for that. I think Venu, please go on mute, right? Venu, please go on mute. It's a disturbance here actually. Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance actually. Okay, now see, we will see like what is the course content we are going to discuss in the further sessions actually. Don't get see, here there is a disclaimer. Don't get panic with the content exactly, and don't get panic with the terminologies what I am using currently. Okay, please just listen to the topics what we are going to cover. Okay, and each and every topic will explain the concept, and then we'll implement the same concept using the implementation tool in Mulesoft, and then you also practice. Automatically you'll get used to all these topics. Okay, don't worry about the terminology is going to be used here, and don't get panic. That is my disclaimer here. Okay, there are so many different new names exactly. If there are so many people in IT industry also, for them also it will be very new exactly. Okay, that's why don't get panicked basically. Okay, we'll see. There are almost some 15 to 16 different modules where we are going to discuss in the total 30 to 40 sessions exactly. But what all that modules we are going to discuss, I'll clearly explain you like module by module basically. Okay. First module 1 exactly. What is Mule ESB? This is the first thing we are going to discuss actually, like introduction of Mule ESB. Okay, in the module 1. But before going to Mule ESB, why Mule ESB has become? See, don't get confused with Mulesoft or Mule ESB. Like Mulesoft is a company name, and Mule ESB is the product name of that company exactly. Mule ESB is nothing but Enterprise Service Bus. We'll explain what is this Enterprise Service Bus and all. Don't worry about that. Okay. Don't get whenever some people recruiters may ask you Mulesoft developer, or some other recruiters may ask you like a Mule ESB developer, have you worked on Mule ESB development? All these questions will come. Don't worry about any of these things exactly. Mulesoft developer or Mule ESB developer, one and the same, but still Mulesoft is a company name and Mule ESB is the product name basically. Okay, product name of that particular company. Okay, now see, in this first module, what are we going to discuss actually? Like why Mule ESB has become so famous. Initially, we used to follow a integration methodology called P2P integration. Okay, what is that? Point-to-point integration. It's again a different concept. We'll tell you like what is point-to-point integration and what are the problems industry were facing at that point of time before this ESB concept, and all those will be discussed in the first session, basically actual session, in the first module of the session. And then what is ESB and how it overcame all the problems which are related to the P2P integration, and then why it is so famous basically. That particular area will be discussed. And now what is orchestration, what is Mule, what is Anypoint Studio, and what is Anypoint platform? All these will be covered in the first module of the sessions basically. Okay, and what are all these exactly? Like Anypoint Studio is nothing but where you practice all your Mule applications, like how to develop your applications. Okay, and Anypoint platform to manage all your APIs or whatever developed in Anypoint Studio, you use this Anypoint platform. Okay, don't worry about all these things. We'll come to a clear explanation of all these concepts exactly. Okay, we'll go in depth of each and every. See, for example, like I'll explain you what is Anypoint Studio for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, what is Anypoint platform? What are its capabilities? What we will do? What we will not be able to do? All these will be discussed in each and every session when required basically. Okay, don't worry about what is this orchestration, what is this Anypoint Studio, what is this Anypoint platform. In the first starting itself, I already told you like don't panic with the terminologies over here. All the terminologies we'll be discussing, and you can go through the videos once again, and then you'll get used to the concepts exactly. Don't worry about the concepts. Okay, that I will take care of. Your part is to just go through them and the number of times you want exactly. Whenever you, if you understood in the first session itself, that's fine. If you don't understand, again go through the recording video which we provide basically, and get used to that. Obviously there will be no problem. Why I'm telling this, basically when you go inside the company, what happens is, if you're not familiar with the terminologies, obviously when the meetings happen, or when you want to talk to your peer group or anyone, obviously there will be so much of a problem for you basically. That's the reason I always insist you to practice the terminologies also. If you know the terminologies, obviously if you use them while talking to your peer group, or talking to your lead, or talking to your architect, what happens automatically, it gives a introduction, it gives some impression on you basically, like, okay, this guy knows the technology. That's the impression you get. That is the reason terminology is very important. I focused on the terminology part also. Don't worry about it, like what is Anypoint Studio, what is Anypoint platform, or all these things exactly. Okay, fine. Now coming to And one more thing I just wanted to convey. See, we will be using mostly like a digital board basically. Like we'll write. I'll show the diagrams, right, and all, because it got some repair basically. Because of that reason, I am not able to use that basically right now. But our methodology is like completely like will be it will be like whenever you sit in the classroom, like the instructor writing on the board and see, right, the same way you will have that feeling. It will take another 2 to 3 days to get it resolved. I already given it to the service basically. Once it is uh, available, we can be using the digital board. There will be no worry. Like it will give, why I am telling that point, it gives you the live feeling like you are in a classroom basically. That is the reason we use that methodology. Please bear me for these 2 to 3 days. Like it will be like already written, and I will be explaining that content to you. Once the board is back, obviously we can use that. Okay, coming to Mule ESB basics exactly. In module 2, what we'll be discussing, like here we have just introduced like what is ESB and like how it will help us basically. But here we will go to like what is Mule ESB. Okay, what are all the things in that particular ESB, like how we will implement and all will be discussed here. What is a flow, what is an event, what is a Anypoint Studio introduction, what I have told you, like here, right, like Anypoint Studio in depth we will discuss here basically. And there is a tool called, again another tool called API Postman is used for API testing. What is this API testing and all, we'll tell you. Like whenever you develop an application in Anypoint Studio, Mule application, immediately we have to test with the help of, there are so many other tools which we can, but mostly we'll be using Postman for that, for the testing of our APIs basically. Okay, and how whenever you develop a project like in Mule 4, like in Anypoint Studio, how the structure looks, all those will be discussed exactly. Like because there is a there are so many components in the project structure exactly. All those will be clearly explained. If that is clearly understood and explained, right, what happens is you can easily understand when you go to a new project or when you go to a new company. Also immediately you can go through this project structure and immediately you'll understand how they are following, what are the rules, what are the best practices they are following. All those will be clearly understood. That is the reason this particular concept will be clearly explained in our session. And what is any software, like for example, like after developing our code exactly, we will debug the that particular application and see how it's working, whether it's working in the right direction or whether there are any issues. If there are any issues, what are the issues, and that issues will be identified using the debugging the flow basically. Okay, for that to happen, we should, there is a procedure in Mulesoft exactly, like how to debug a flow and what are the best practices to follow while debugging the flow and all will be discussed exactly. Okay, fine. And we had a question like obviously whether there is any programming language in Mule ESP. I told yes, obviously there are two programming languages, but we should not call them programming languages basically. They are called as modeling languages. What is the difference between a programming language and a modeling language? Obviously, modeling language is less complex when compared to the programming language. Programming language, obviously, you have to put in more efforts, and there are so many things you have to learn and do basically. When it comes to modeling language, obviously, what happens is it's easier to understand. Uh, we discuss everything from the basics exactly, and you will be prepared for a medium level experienced guy developer basically. Okay, don't worry about that. What is this DWL known as? Data Weave language. It is used to write the transformation. Okay, this is one of the main important topics. 10 to 20% of the time we are using this particular language to write the transformations, right? Obviously, we have to understand this particular area in a depth. In depth exactly. Then obviously you are whenever you face like writing transformations in the real-time environment, obviously you know all the concepts of that DWL, and then you can easily implement that basically. But we will explain you from zero level to mid level. After that, you have to explore and understand, but it is more than enough for a 1 to 2 years experienced developer. Okay, don't worry about that. When you become senior, then they may expect you to write a high level code related to DWL, but whatever we teach in the classroom is more than enough to sustain your uh, development career basically for a 2 year or 1.5 to 2 years or 2.5 years developer basically. And then I told you, like already I told you, like we'll be giving you the lab exercises, and then you have to practice that basically. That's we call as challenges. Challenges will be given to you, you have to practice whatever the concept is explained here. That particular concepts related challenges will be given, and you have to practice basically. Okay, fine. Here in this flow intro, right, we will be developing a small hello world application. Okay, this application again you have to go back and then practice once again and see. One more important point I just wanted to confirm to everyone, and this is the most important point, and people know that, but they ignore exactly. They don't follow that. But I strongly, strongly, strongly say that if you see, if you listen, if you just without practicing anything, you won't get software. Okay, you will not get used to the software session. First see the video, okay, understand it, okay, and then go immediately, open your laptop and immediately start practicing. If you practice, you will get hundreds of doubts exactly, and if that hundreds of doubts are cleared, obviously now you are completely what to say, at least capable of understanding the things and do the things on your own basically. Okay, and this, don't forget, this is very very important. Just watching the video, seeing the video and learn without practicing, if you do all those things also, obviously it is not going to help you to work as a developer in the real time world basically. Okay, this is my another important instruction. Okay, you people have to follow it. Okay, next, coming to the deployment strategies. Module 3, we will discuss all the deployment strategies basically. Okay, what are the deployment strategies basically? Deployment strategies means whenever you develop some application, obviously you have to deploy them in different environments basically. We'll understand all these things in the further sessions, but for deploying that, there are different strategies exactly. All those strategies will be discussed over here. I already told you in the first session itself, like we have a cloud based solution from Mulesoft, as well as on-premise server solution also. All these, like what is this on-premise server solution, what is this cloud hub solution, how to deploy your applications. For example, I told you, like we'll be developing hello world application, right? That hello world applications, how to deploy in your local, and again how to deploy on your standalone server. Standalone server means on-premise solution, how to deploy it in cloud hub. All these will be discussed in the deployment strategies module basically. Okay, I again confirm, don't worry about all these strategies and what the terminologies and all. We'll come to in depth all for all these topics basically. Okay, next, coming to module 4. See, any application we develop most probably will be like the REST application or the SOAP application basically, because I already told you, like whenever two different applications wanted to speak with each other. For example, I told you, like a Java application wanted to speak with a .NET application. Obviously, as I told you an example, generic example, a French person cannot speak to a English person because the English person doesn't know French, and a French person doesn't know English exactly. The same way, Java application cannot speak to a .NET application, or .NET application cannot speak to a Java application. That communication don't happen in a proper manner. For that, there should be a standard format to facilitate the communication in between this REST and SOAP, .NET and Java application basically. That standard format is known as REST and SOAP basically. Okay, all the services like whatever we develop will be most probably like REST web service or the SOAP web service or REST application or a SOAP application. Like for example, like how to this hello world application, right? This also mostly will be REST application only. Okay, SOAP application is a little bit difficult, but it is an old way of doing the developing the applications exactly. Now currently we are following REST application. Mostly some 80 to 90% of the applications whatever we are developing will be of REST only. Here in this particular area, we are going to discuss like how to consume them. For example, already there are certain applications which are already developed by some other people. Okay, how to use in your applications like REST and SOAP applications, that particular concepts will be discussed over here. And again, there will be challenges. You have to practice. Okay, now coming to this area, I already told you like to connect to a database or to connect to any application from our Mule application or Mule flow basically. We use a simple drag and drop concept exactly. Like what we do, we just simply, for example, like you want to connect to a database exactly. If you want to do that in the same thing in Java or .NET or any other programming applications, like it will take hundreds of, you have to write hundreds of lines of code to just to connect to a database exactly. But here what we will do, we will just drag, there will be a database connector, you'll just drag and drop it to the main area, and then immediately you will write some configurations, and then immediately you can connect within a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. You can complete the connection exactly. The same way, for different purposes we have different connectors exactly. I told you a just example like database connector for connecting to the database basically. Okay, the same way we have file FTP, SFTP. Like if you want to connect to a file system, okay, or FTP system or a SFTP system, I'll explain you all these things clearly. Don't worry about all these things exactly. We have different connectors. We explain like how to configure the file connector, how to configure the FTP connector, how to configure the SFTP connector, and its operations. What are all the different operations available in this area, and all these will be discussed in a clear manner. Don't worry about all those things exactly. Okay, the same way next, and again you have the practice over here. You have to practice. And why I have put all these three in this area exactly, they are almost similar in terms of the configurations. There are some changes that I'll clearly explain the differences also, and interviews also they'll be asking what are the differences between this file FTP and SFTP. That is the reason all these three is encapsulated into this module 5 basically. Okay, that is the main reason. Okay, next we'll be discussing about DB endpoint. Like just now I said, right? How to connect to a database basically. We'll be in database, we have so many operations like select, update, insert, delete. All these operations will be there. After connecting to a database, what are all the things you can do, we will discuss in this particular module 6 exactly. Now coming to module 7. This is very important session exactly, and like but now you'll not be able to understand like what is this explanation of properties and all basically, but still this is one of the best practices suggested by Mulesoft to follow while developing exactly. Okay, what is the main way best practice means? There are so many ways of doing something, but for example, like I want to go to Amirpet from Kukatpalli exactly. There are so many ways basically. One way it will take around 35 minutes. Another way it will take around 40 minutes. One way it will take only 20 minutes. See, what is the best way to go? Obviously, the 20 minutes way basically. Okay, and that way, for example, like there are so many best practices to follow while developing an application in the real-time environment. This is one of the best practices, like explanation of properties. Okay, and for example, like I'll take one example. For example, to connect to a DB, we need a username and password, right? With the help of this DB endpoint basically. For example, like you kept like username and password there itself. If anyone who can access the application can come that application and see the username and password, and they can easily hack that database basically. Okay, for you have to externalize that particular username and password, and how to secure that username and password. Secure means instead of username and password, obviously it will be looking like a star 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 masking kind of thing. Basically, when you enter your password in Facebook or somewhere, obviously you don't see the password, right? Whenever you wanted to show password, then only it shows. Basically, the similar way, your username and password will not be seen. It will be encrypted into a different format, actually, where people cannot understand so easily. Okay, that particular area is this area is very, very important, and you will be facing so many interview questions also in this particular area, basically. Okay, and coming to module 8, there are two concepts called object store and watermarking. This is also very, very important. Like whenever you are developing applications in Mule ESB, these concepts will be very, very helpful. Okay, those concepts like object store and watermarking, these are general concepts only, but we will go in depth about these two concepts, and then how to use them in Mule ESB. We'll see all those things in this particular area. Okay, fine. Now coming to, this is another concept called routing concepts. Exactly, like, okay, routing concepts means for example, like we are sending one message. That message, like it has to be processed in multiple routes of what to use. It has to be it has to go to one route only based on the condition. How to use that? All those will be discussed in this particular concept called routing concepts. Exactly, and there are two process like scatter gather and choice router. These are the mostly used message process in real time. Basically, that's the reason we will see in depth like how to use scatter gather, what is scatter gather, how to use that, what are the configurations, and when to use scatter gather and when to use choice router. All these will be discussed in this particular section. Exactly, because there are so many connectors and components which we have to use, but when to use them is the main tactic you have to know. Then you can easily just drag drop that particular component, and like how to configure that. Basically, already we will be explaining the concept of configuration of that particular component. Obviously you'll be knowing that. Obviously it's fine. Next, like when to use that. Obviously you will be not confused like when to use what exactly. Okay, next we'll be discussing about messaging and JMS endpoint. Exactly, this is another concept. Like whenever you wanted to process a huge message related applications or message related applications, or whenever there are some systems which will be taking so much of time, at that point of time this particular concept will come into picture, like messaging and JMS endpoint. And this is also one of the most important concepts, like used in real time. Sometimes, for example, like in my 2.5 to 3 years of career in Mulesoft, recently I got an opportunity to work on this particular area. Basically, sometimes you may get the opportunity, sometimes you may not get, but whenever you get the opportunity to work on any area, if you know that, obviously you can work on that particular area confidently. Basically, okay, that's the reason we'll be discussing about this particular topic also. Messaging and JMS endpoint. What is queue, what is topic, and what is active MQ server, how to configure the JMS connector, how to publish and consume messages. Exactly, and the practice related to that particular area. Basically, okay, fine. This is the messaging and JMS endpoint. This one I already told you, like DW, data weave language, will be discussed introduction exactly in the first the starting of that course and all. But here we'll go in depth exactly for 2 to 3 sessions, like how to use this DWL data weave language to write the easy transformations to the complex transformations. Basically, okay, and then you have to practice. Basically, coming to the exception handling. What do you mean by exception handling? Exception handling is nothing but handling the errors. Basically, see, for example, like any application, if you see, for why this is important, right? Exactly, I'll tell you why exception handling or the error handling exactly is important. Already who are working on any technology or any software, obviously they know the importance of error handling. Why error handling is very important. Any uh, I'll tell you 1 second. For any what is the MuleSB? We are providing one request, and it will process the request, okay, and it will give you the response basically, okay. For that, in success scenario, we will have only, obviously there will be one request exactly, okay, we will be receiving request and we will be sending the one success response. In terms of errors, we have error responses, maybe tens, hundreds also at that time, but we will capture all, most probably the broadly classified all errors, and we will send the error response to the request who has sent exactly. What does it mean basically? For example, like uh, you are making the payment, okay. For example, we'll take an example of making a payment. We ordered something on Swiggy, and you came to the payment page and you're about to make the payment. For example, like what you have done, take entering all your details like your name, card details, and the CVV, all these entering all these details immediately. If you click on submit, that will go as a request to the backend application actually. Now that backend application will receive that request, see whether these details all are correct or not, and whether the amount is available in your card or not, in your account or not. And then, for example, like we don't have the amount in our sufficient amount in your bank account, for example. Now it will not be successful, obviously, right? Because uh, you don't have the sufficient balance in your account exactly. Now we have to categorize that into an error basically and send as a response like your account doesn't have the sufficient balance, use another card. Okay, if it is successful, what happens? Your order will be placed and automatically your transaction is successful. This way we will be having so many different kinds of responses that comes into the error handling basically. Only one success response will be there, or a very few number of success responses will be there. Rest other will come into the error handling. Okay, all those will be handled and discussed in this particular area, exception or error handling. For any software, this is one of the most critical and important area, because only you'll be dealing with one success response and tens of error responses. That's the reason we should be focusing on this area also. And, there is a way to handle it in Mule ESB. Okay, like we have some components like on error continue, on error propagate, error handler, raise error. All these will be discussed over here. And what are the different exception handling strategies to be followed? All those will be discussed in this particular session. Okay, next coming to the there is a concept called MUnit exactly. Any application, for example, what is the MUnit? MUnit is a testing framework which is introduced by Mulesoft itself for the unit testing purposes. Okay, what is this unit testing? Why we have to do this? And what is that MUnit? How we can do MUnit testing? Sorry, unit testing with the help of this MUnits. Everything that will be discussed at this point of time. Okay. Next. Okay, our error handling already done. Okay, ignore this exactly. And then coming to the API-led connectivity. I told you like there are some best practices we have to follow while designing an application basically or developing an application. This is again API-led connectivity is a best practice suggested by MuleSoft exactly. Like if you follow this particular API-led connectivity architecture, it is a architecture model suggested by Mulesoft. Basically, you will have so many advantages. Exactly. Okay, all those will be discussed in this area. What is API-led connectivity? What are the advantages of following this architecture? Okay, what are the layers in that architecture? Why? What is the importance of each and every layer, like experience layer, process layer, and system layer? Okay, all these will be discussed in detail here. Exactly. Okay, and this is again a important topic. In each and every interview, you will be facing some of the questions in this particular area. This is entirely a theoretical concept only, but you should understand the theoretical concept and you should know how to implement this. Exactly. We will be taking a very clear illustration of this particular example. Like we'll take a clear diagram and show, like I told you, like enterprise application integration example, right? Like why we are using Mulesoft. Like I told you, like 3 to 4 different applications are used for different purposes. The same way, we'll take a clear diagram of this and then clearly take a session. Exactly. Okay, don't worry about that, and you'll be able to easily answer once you go through the session. You'll be able to answer any kind of question in that particular area. Exactly. Okay, mostly you'll be facing scenario based questions over here. We'll see that questions also, like how they may ask you and how you have to answer all those questions. Okay. Okay, next, coming to uh, designing APIs. Exactly. Like this is the first step. Exactly, but I have kept this in the last sessions. Exactly, the reason is very simple. uh, this particular designing APIs will be done generally by the experienced developers, like 3 years or 4 years developers, or the lead or the architects, or those people will take care of this particular area. But this is the first step before developing the API. We will design the API and then we'll go for the development of the API. Okay, that also will be clearly explained. Like I told you, like there are two languages to be learned in Mulesoft. Right? This is another language, RESTful API modeling language. This is similar to English. Exactly. We'll be having so many keywords in English. We using that keywords, like we will understand like how to write a RAML and how to mock and test APIs in the design center itself, basically, and how to publish into the exchange. All these will be discussed in a clear manner, and detailed steps will be there. Don't worry about that. Okay. And even this particular language also will be taught 0 level to high level. You will, even for example, like your team lead told, like you only write the RAML and then start the development. Exactly, you will be able to, once you go through our session, exactly, you'll be able to write that RAML also. Okay, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that particular area. But only thing is, like once you go through the session, you have to practice more. Practice. That's it. Next, coming to managing APIs. Okay. Secure APIs. Okay. Here, one more concept called API. See, this is again a very important feature of Mulesoft actually. Okay, what is this API manager and API manager intro? See, once we develop and deploy to the production environment, we have to manage those APIs. Basically, manage means like how is it performing, how much time it is taking, how many requests are coming, how many responses are getting failed, how many success responses are coming. All these will be can be managed managed through API manager. Basically, we will go through and for example, like we want to apply some policies. Policies means like security. We want to apply some security. For example, like no one if they have some username and password, only those people will be able to access your API. Rest other people will not be able to access your API. Okay, that kind of security policies can be applied, and all those will be discussed in this particular module basically. Okay, don't worry about that. We will take care. And this is also another important concept, and it will be discussed in detail. Okay. See, all these concepts till now, whatever we have discussed, all these topics will be covered in our session, which are as a Mulesoft developer. If you go inside the company, obviously, if you know all these concepts, you will be able to sustain in the job without any other people's help. Exactly. If you properly listen to my classes and then practice for more time. For example, like you practice for first time, one topic you took and you practice this for first time, you will be understanding the concepts to a some 40 to 50% level. Practice for the second time, you'll become a little bit faster, as well as you will understand 70 to 80%. Practice it for third time. Now you will understand that particular concept for 100%, and then you'll be faster enough. Okay, that's the reason I always tell practice. If you practice and listen to the classes properly and follow the instructions, automatically you will be easily surviving your job. Okay, coming to next thing, like I'll finish off this particular area in another 5 to 10 minutes actually, and then if there are any questions, we'll take and then we'll close the session. See, what are the software requirements to learn Mulesoft exactly? This is one question which I have to address exactly, and based on that, you also people make the necessary arrangements to practice Mulesoft. Okay, see, software requirements is JDK 1.8 or above. Okay, Anypoint Studio and Anypoint platform account. This is a cloud account actually. Okay, we'll tell that how we do. And even I told you, like advanced REST client, Postman. We'll be testing most of our applications through Postman exactly. All these softwares will be provided by us only. Don't worry about that. Okay, these are the all softwares you have to install on your system, and then you have to start practicing. These softwares will be actually you have to download these from different websites. We will be providing all the softwares, necessary softwares in one folder. You can download them and then you can install them. And that particular section will be clearly displays how to download and how to install, and what are the settings need to be done before starting your practice, and all those will be discussed in the sessions exactly. Okay, and coming to the next question, like what are the system configurations for practicing Mulesoft? Okay, I suggest like 8 GB RAM or above exactly, but Mulesoft suggests 16 GB RAM actually for the faster because it is a software, right? Obviously, it needs that kind of RAM actually to work properly. Basically, 8 GB RAM will be a little bit slower. That's fine basically. Okay, 16 GB is ideal. And coming to the software on your this thing, Windows or even it works with the Mac and all also. Mostly we'll be practicing on, even my system is Windows. We'll be telling all the concepts related to Windows related thing only. But it works on Linux. Again, it works on Mac operating system also. And coming to the processor, if it is 2 GHz processor, it will be very fine actually. Okay, these are the system requirements. And make sure you people have this kind of configuration before you proceed with the practice basically. And today I just wanted to tell you like what is the role of a Mulesoft developer in a company. Once for example, like you started learning and you practiced and you attended the interviews, and then you got into the company. What will be your role basically, generally? Okay, that I will brief you in 2 to 3 minutes. Based on that, you will get some understanding of it, out of it basically. Okay, like first you'll be going through the documents exactly. I'll tell you first, don't forget about this particular. If someone is already working on different technologies also, you'll be understanding this. If you're very new to the industry, IT industry and all, it will be new for this, but still I'll tell you what is that BRD and what is this TDD. I'll explain you. First, as soon as you go to the project, actually, they'll give some introductions and all, that's fine. After that, before starting I'm telling about, completely explaining about the uh, development aspect currently, exactly. Okay. Once you'll be asking like, please provide me the BRD and TDD related to the development exactly. What is BRD? Business requirement document. Okay. And what is TDD? Technical design document. Okay. See, now what is BRD? Business requirement document, I told you. Whenever you're developing, for example, an application, before you start developing your application, right, there are business people, okay, they discuss with the client, what is your exact requirement, like what you wanted to achieve, and all those will be discussed and they will make a document out of it, the business team, exactly. Okay. That business team will write a document based on the interaction happening with the client, basically. Now, that document clearly explains you what is the client's requirement. Like you, this API require, this API require, this is the thing I require. Broadly, it will be defining everything. Okay, once you go through that particular document, you will understand the requirement in a broad manner. Okay, after the business team gives the business requirement document, immediately that architect and the technical lead, they will prepare a technical design document, actually. Okay, technical design document, how we have to implement that particular requirement in terms of Mulesoft. They will write a document separately. Okay, technically, okay, we have to do this way, and in a broader manner. Okay, once you go through these two documents, you will be having so many queries. Those queries will be answered by yourself if you have some experience. Okay, most of the questions, but still there will be some more questions, exactly. Okay, you can discuss with your peer group, okay, or your team lead or the business team. Next, we'll go to the discussion area. You will discuss all your queries with business team as well as the architect or the technical team with your all your questions, and they will be answering all your questions. Now you will be clear with your requirement. Okay, and then you will start designing, developing, testing. Testing means unit testing is a area you have to take care of. Developer will take care. This is again, testing team will be there. Okay, they will take care of this. But you, whenever they raise some bugs and all issues and in your application whichever you have developed, you have to fix those issues and then again ask them to test, basically. And these are the certain steps. Like first, I told you, like design your API with the help of RAML, which I told you. Develop API with the help of Anypoint Studio, and unit testing you can do with the help of Anypoint Studio. Okay, QA testing, there is separate team, they will take care of this particular testing. They do manually or they have certain tools, they will use that and do it. And then you will take this same code to the user acceptance testing. Okay, the business people will do the testing, and then they will complete it, actually. And then if they say okay, then it will go to the production, basically. Production means what? For example, like now you are using Swiggy, like in live, basically. That's what production environment, exactly. When any application is moved into the production environment, the general public or the respective public or the respective consumers of that particular application will be using that. Before that, it is completely inside the organization. Only those organization people will be able to use that particular application and then do it. This is the role of a Mulesoft developer in any company, basically. Okay, maybe here and there will be some changes, basically, but broadly this is the thing what you will be doing. Okay, there will be some meetings, you will be needing the other documents, also supporting documents to do all those things and all. Okay, all those will be clearly discussed before you proceed for the development. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think I'm done for today. If there are any questions, please ask me. And I told you, like every day you will have one hour session, Monday to Friday, and if whenever required, we may go for the weekend sessions. Most probably I will leave that particular weekend actually for the practice. Basically, whatever you have learned in the entire week, if you haven't practiced on 1 or 2 days, actually you can practice on the weekends. Exactly. Daily 1 hour session will be there from Monday to Friday. This is another thing which I wanted to inform you. And if there are any questions, we will proceed. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session. Shall I wind up? Yeah, I hope, I think everyone is clear what I have told. Okay. And okay, we'll see you soon tomorrow actually. Okay, and then we'll start the sessions. Like we'll start with all the theoretical. First 2 to 3 classes will be theoretical, and from the third or fourth class we'll start the implementation. More I will be doing, I'll be showing those things. You will be practicing. Okay, this way the classes happen exactly. Okay, yeah, then thank you. Thanks everyone.